Say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in our series, The Best in Islam. In this episode, we'll be looking at the best of Islam, continuing from our previous episode, with two other statements from Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him. The first of which, he said, as narrated by Abu Huraira, خياركم في الجاهلية خياركم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا. The best of you in the time of ignorance will be the best of you in Islam if you become learned in the religion. This statement of the Prophet, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, gives credence or gives recognition to what precedes Islam, a person coming into Islam. That if there were good qualities which they had, which made them people of influence, people of wisdom, people of knowledge, etc., then the likelihood, after they accept Islam, they will also be great people in Islam. If they were great before, because Islam is not detached from life. What existed before the acceptance of Islam was life. What exists after is life. They're both interrelated. Only after Islam, life is now looked at from another pair of glasses. We have the Islamic view, but it's still life. So leadership, people who had leadership qualities before Islam, maybe they even got training, they got degrees, etc., qualifications, etc. When they enter into Islam, these degrees, these qualifications, this knowledge becomes applicable in Islam also. So we should never discount and feel simply because a person has converted to Islam, nothing before that is of any value. No. Sins that went before, they're not held accountable for, they're free from that. But in terms of their abilities, their skills, their behavior, all of the various characteristics and qualities which we hold of great value in human life, if they had these qualities before Islam, then Islam doesn't cancel them. There is a place for them within the parameter of Islam. However, they are modified, supported in different ways, etc. So those people who had good qualities, when we're giving dawah, we're encouraging people to accept Islam, we should try to choose some of the people who are of influence, people with skills which the Ummah, Muslim community can benefit from. We should always try to include these people in our invitation. It may be more difficult because there are people who have position already, but we should not exclude them and only focus on the common people. And I'm not saying to focus on them and leave the common people either, but we have to recognize that if we find among them people who have an inclination, we should make great efforts to try to bring them over, because the Muslim community will benefit from them. Of course, people take this in a different light, in that they may give great support to people who are just stars. They were football players, basketball players, others who had fame because of skills they had which are not necessarily beneficial. So sometimes we misunderstand this principle of those who were great before Islam being great in Islam to apply to the stars. So when you hear about a movie star accepts Islam, people are, make a big thing about it and maybe put this person in a position where they're speaking on Islam. The people start asking them fatwas, and of course they may talk nonsense. No, but this is not what is meant. The best of you before Islam, meaning good people, beneficial to society, people respected them because of that. When they become Muslims, those qualities should be supported and they should be encouraged to continue to play this role. So this is the concept, that the good before Islam has value in Islam. We don't cancel it, we don't ignore it. In fact, we should nurture it. And when the Prophet, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, when Muslims were in a particularly difficult period, he made dua asking Allah to strengthen Islam by some of the leading, young, strong figures. And Allah brought Hamza, he brought Umar ibn al-Khattab, to Islam. And that gave Muslims strength. So those who were great before Islam in their fields which are beneficial to society, we should encourage them, reach out to them to try to bring them also into Islam by providing them the necessary knowledge that they could make that choice. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ added the condition, if they become learned. If they become learned. Because a person might be, I remember there was a case of one individual, very famous individual, in the French context. He was a translator of the book Das Kapital, translation of, this is communist theory, socialist theory, translated into French, and he was a philosopher. He accepted Islam and was very much supporter of Islam, etc. But people put him in a position where he, after giving lectures, generally speaking about, before Islam,